The Dota world is vast and rich, from the treacherous waters around the clad isles to the ghastly eyrie in the sky, from the glaciers in the bitter north to the thorny waste and hazardal desert in the south. Asian-inspired cultures, South American-inspired gods, and European-inspired kingdoms in constant battle. Together, we will embark on a journey to discover the biomes, cultures, people, and stories of different regions of the Dota world. This is Dota Geography. In this episode, we will just take a quick overlook on the map and how the ancients came to existence and influenced the Dota world. There was very little concrete information to go from the mapping, so a lot of this is guessing based on what is logical. First and foremost, because time in the Dota universe is complex. Most of my decisions I've made based on the map from an old Dota tutorial, and then I've placed other things according to how it relates to that. I've also tried to see what type of culture and biome from real life the places are inspired by, and then drawn conclusions. For example, Asian inspired in the east and cold places in the north. Bear in mind that where exactly things are placed is not that important, it's just so we have something physical to relax our brain on while we discover the stories and relationships. Because time in the Dota universe is so scattered and we lack evidence, I'm gonna describe what has happened, give my thoughts on it, and then it's up to you to decide when you think it happened and in what order. Let me know your thoughts. Each video covers the region and will go deeper and deeper as the video progresses. I will first give an overlook of the region and show the different places, then describe the biome, as in landscape, flora, and fauna. Then I will go over the people, heroes, and factions you can find in the region. After that, we will talk about the different artifacts, gods, and culture of the people. Lastly, we will dive deep into the history and my own personal speculation. The end part of the video, I will explain my decisions and other options I considered. I have mapped out every single place mentioned in all of the cosmetics and events. I don't think I'm missing anything, but if you see something big, let me know. So, this is the Terrene Plain. The Dota world our heroes battle on doesn't have a name we know of, neither does the planet. The only thing we know is that it's referred to as the Terrene Plain. We also have other planes and other realms, which will be its own video, but they are not on this map. On the Terrene Plain, I have divided the map in different regions, which has some shared history and biome. We have the north, the Clad Isles, the Western Mountains, the Wailing Mountains, Vur, the Western Forest, the Rulands, the Western Tropics, the Bleeding Hills, the Eastern Isles, Nishai, and the Barrens. Each of these will have their own video. Additionally, there's 3 oceans we know of: the Northern Sea, the Boiling Sea, and the Submarine Sea. In the north, we have most notably Icewrack, where Crystal Maiden resides, Cobalt, where Tusk is from, and Cray, where Siltbreaker took place. On the Clad Isles, we have the stories of Tidehunter and Kunkka, as well as Sven. In the Western Mountains, you might recognize Knollen, where Sniper is from, the Fields of Endless Carnage, where Pudge has history, and Stonehall, where Legion Commander's Bronze Legion is from. In the Wailing Mountains, we find the places the elemental spirits originated. In Vur, we find the ancient Oglodi ruins our Oglodi friends come from, as well as Druid, where the centaurs reside and hunt. We also have the volcanic Vur mountains, and underneath them, the Abyss, Nether Reaches, and Font of Avernus. Roshan also lives in these underground caves. The Western Forests is the home of the Wind Ranger, and the Night Silver Woods is where Luna and Mirana worship Salamene. We also find Augury, Roseleaf, and the nation Revtel, the home of many heroes and interesting races. The Rulands is a big region that covers many kingdoms, some still around, but many destroyed long ago. The Western Tropics includes the Ash Archipelago, GD Isle, where Venomancer was reborn, and Bloodseeker's home in the far southwest. The Bleeding Hills has tar running down from them into the Haven, a big forest with trolls in it, among other things. A bit south, we also have the Yamarask of Jungle, where Batrider is from. To the west, we have Ultimir and the ruins full of treasures that Meepo frequents. The Eastern Isles contains not only Juggernaut's fabled home, but also Pole and Ashkovor, the homes of Phantom Lancer and Grimstroke. To the north, we also find the ghastly Eyrie, high in the mountaintops, unavailable to those who can't fly. Nishai is the home of Earthshaker, Broodmother, and also one of the 2 places we know from the Siltbreaker event. The Barrens is a vast desert in the south, where we find Nyx Assassin, Sand King, and Lena. The circle you see overlapping some parts of Clad Vur and the western forests and mountains is where the artifact lore took place. When I cover these regions, I will avoid the artifact story, because that will be an episode of its own when the game is released. But don't be afraid, the regions have a lot of lore to cover already, even without the new knowledge from Artifact. So, to start off this series, let's talk about the origin of the world. The Archronicus tells us that before there was life at all on our planet, the Mad Moon containing the Ancients came into its orbit. The Mad Moon was their prison, captured by Zet, the Archwarden. Zet and the Ancients, among others, are fragments of the Primordial Mind, a presence that predates time. Based on Archwarden's lore, it seems like after something resembled the Big Bang happened, the Primordial Mind was turned into many fragments. 2 of these, and 2 of the biggest ones, were Radiant and Dire. They are the opposite forces we call the Ancients. Zet, the Archwarden, is a smaller fragment who trapped them in the Mad Moon to bring harmony to their conflicts. This prison found our planet's orbit, and Archwarden made sure they didn't escape. But he grew weaker over time, and their conflict within the Mad Moon grew stronger. As their conflict in the sky grew more and more vigorous over the millennia, life on Earth flourished. If we understand the artifact lore correctly, however, the Ancients had their effect on the planet long before they later landed. Prelex and Kana were priestesses for each their ancient power, and Prelex had visions of a sundered moon. These visions were true, because eventually the Ancients couldn't be contained any longer, and the Mad Moon shattered, spreading radiant ore and direstone all over the planet. One other thing that might have come from the Mad Moon, though, is Celimene. Celimene is the goddess of the moon and is worshipped in the Night Silver Woods by Luna and Mirana. On Luna's cosmetic item, Moonfall, we learn that when the Night Silver Woods were still young, a shard from space fell, and they built a shrine of Celimene there. Could it be that she was also part of the original Primordial Mind? Or that she is just another interpretation of the Radiant? From the artifact card Temple of War, we know that the Bronze Legion worships a war goddess. Maybe this is the dire equivalent of Celimene? We will talk more about Celimene in my Western Forests video. Anyways, the Ancients landed in a cataclysmic event, and over time, twisted things around them. The Dire with its destruction, and Radiant with its creation. Don't be fooled though, they are both each their side of an evil coin. The Radiant is in no way good. All its creations are enslaved to it, and blind followers. The Dire, if we can understand Kana's motivations correctly, is more free and rebelling. Maybe we can describe it as the Dire being an anarchistic nation, while the Radiant is a totalitarian one. And as you can imagine, anarchism and totalitarianism don't really get along, and conflict is inevitable. Over time, each side, now with loyal followers on both sides, became more and more consumed with destroying the other. The Ragnarok-like event that eventually must happen, when the sides clash in the final battle between heroes, the battle we know from our games in Dota 2. Now, what created our planet, plane, realm, and reality itself will be covered in my video about everything that is not on the terrene plane, so don't worry about that just yet.
Keep calm and play smart.